are a limited resource. And as you know, probably, we're facing daily tens of thousands of pathogen agents, viruses, bacteria, anything else. And our body is fighting those, more or less, depending upon our privileged genetic disposition and depending upon, yes, our defense system. Well, we carry on this load. Now, so I call the big balloon, you see, the big circle, our resources. You see, they are limited. They are limited. Now, the pathogen agent has the angle, being a small angle, represents the degree of organization. The reverse, the other side of entropy. But I don't want to use the term of entropy because many people don't really digest the term. So let's go more popular. The degree of organization is very small. So those pathogens are not really strong upon us. We have them and we defend them. Why? Because this angle, human body, you see, I call it human body. Let's not be elephants, let's be humans, right? This human body, right? The degree of organization is much higher, so can fight the pathogens. The overall degree of organization, the pathogens and the human body, is the large angle, which I call it natural economy. Why I call it natural economy? Because economy existed way before mankind. You'll say, what? Well, yeah, the trees are exchanging resources and energies. They absorbing energies from the sun, they exchanging pheromones, they exchanging minerals, they exchanging whatever, right? It's a constant interchange between living entities. Then the animals came, and the bigger animal, right, and his brain, let's say the human, that say, well, I want to take it all for myself, all right? And we start to cut the trees, we start to do, as Mr. Da Silva mentioned about electrical power plants, destroying jungles and having a strong impact. Why? Because us, the humanity, want to have more and more and more. We're consuming. We're just consuming. Why are we consuming? Because we want to, right? Because we're intelligent. I haven't seen that in a forest. They're consuming what they need. They reproduce as they need. After a while, the agent, I'm talking about the pathogen agent, right? Being virus, bacteria, or whatever, probably catches strength. Well, what does it do? It increases its angle, so its degree of organization, right? Because as you know, geometry, if we go lower, we'll have a smaller angle, but we still have 180 degrees per total. All right, this increases its organization. Well, the human body has to fight some more, so it decreases its degree of organization. While as the natural economy, now still always bigger than the sum of the two, it's specific to life. Husband, wife, they are two different humans, two different entities, but together they create a family that not only procreate, right, but they are capable to support each other. They think together. They doing much more. A society, right? When we talk about 1,000 people, the degree of organization is much, much higher than 1,000 times each one of us, because we're working together. We're working together, and we're supposed to work together, not to be in conflict with each other. So this is what I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate the Russian Federation for and the other countries for joining the new Euro-Asian Union, Economic Union, and we were exploiting this planet anyway. So we might as well get together, like they did in the European Union and the United States of America, to manage the resources. And I hope they will manage right, and I hope they will observe also the human rights. So globalization is great, but if it works in the interest of each one of us, not in the interest of I just learned this morning, and it has been published in the New Scientist. I communicate on ResearchGate. I suggest you to sign up for ResearchGate network. You will find if you Google. It's a great group called Global Economic Reforms. And lots of interesting conversations are happening there. So I was informed this morning, and I took note of it, that actually somewhere 80% of our production economy, global economy, is being held by 147 entities that correlate with each other and they cross each other. So actually we're talking about a global monopoly. Well, let's think about it. I'm not making any declarations here. It's a subject to think about. But let's go back to our microorganisms. So if we go to the next slide, we'll see that somehow we intending to go towards equilibrium. The pathogen increases strength, right? So we feel like the body is going to get sick, right? Because it's stronger and stronger. What is happening on the opposite? Here, with red, I marked the pathogen, cancer cell, tumors, the waste product. As you see, it is increasing, taking away from those resources. Of course, the human body is still healthy and is producing this waste, which is much larger than this one. All right, we go to the next slide. What is happening? We going somewhere closer to an equilibrium. Still, this angle is larger. The sum of the two mathematically gives us a number that is smaller than natural economy. So the economy still work, still produce. It's a major, major fight. Let's go to the next slide. Well, I changed the color. Why? Because it increased the population. We come closer to the diameter. The angle we have 45 degrees, 45 degrees. It just reminds you a little geometry. I'm sorry for, I don't mean to insult anybody, but it's sometimes it's practical. And here we're having the natural economy. Actually, the two entities, their sum starts equaling. There is no more production. Nothing is happening there anymore for good. There is the degree of organization. It starts to be equal. If we go to, and the waste is equal again, while the total resource has been depleted. We're somewhere half. Let's go next. Well, if we are here now, we see the human body actually has lower output, lower waste, which means, you see, its degree of organization is lower than the pathogen. The pathogen took over. I don't even know if this human is still alive. Maybe it is, maybe it's in coma. I don't know. The angle, it's the sum. The degree of organization together mathematically are equal. Still, you know, if we go to next, well, we pass the population. Obviously, the population reached one time the maximum, which is the diameter. But why is it decreasing the population? Because the pathogens have nothing to eat anymore. The human body is dying, if it's not dead already, a couple of meters under the ground. So the waste from the human is practically nothing. But I made this graph just for you to kind of visualize what is coming next. Because, stay here please, the height, it is the distribution, it's the overall impact, or the wealth, or whatever you want to call, distributed to the population. All right. Now, if we go to the next, obviously human body is dead. This is the human body. You look at it for a couple of seconds because I'm running out of time. You understand what I'm talking about, repeating the same story. But now, this is the human, this is the ecological system, and this is the natural economy. This is the ecological system that has lots of waste. We want that. We have the cellulose, we have the nitrogen becoming organic nitrogen, right, for protein, for amino acids, and so on, which is great. Next. we're coming close to an equilibrium. Next. All right, you understand what is happening here. The population, we are somewhere that we still grow. This angle is much larger than the sum of the two. Next. We reach the highest population possibly we can have on planet Earth. And you're going to ask, well, what is the maximum population planet Earth can hold? Well, I'm going to come to that very soon. Next. This is the equilibrium, where the two have no place to grow anymore. The ecological system comes to a still, the humanity comes to a still. So I recommend to stay way below this diameter. Here we have the death of what? Of humanity. What we have in here? We have the impact is the same, the wealth we've been gaining. The wealth also depleted because of the area of the triangle depleted. But it is distributed to very few. The population, which is HE, you will see, okay? It is the population growth that already, there are just few people left on planet Earth. Next. You can compare the two, the recommended area and the death. Next. Next. All right, we stay here. What would be the population? What would be the population is the factor of safety, is the sum of the protein production potential divided by the protein necessary for the individual. If we have no protein, we have no life. And we are limited biologically of growth of this planet. So we have to take an account to anything we design from now on. Next. And how we can prevent that? Prevent this. Eating as much as we want, becoming this and going on an airplane with a natural bag with another bag. Next. Overconsumption is a flagrant, unhealthy, and unethical behavior against human rights principle. Next. And this guy has on his t-shirt, I respect my own human rights. Of course he does. But he disregards his own children. Why? Imagine. Next. Overpopulation is against human rights. Attention. Next. We are not born equal, but we are not born condemned either. Next. Humans are not for sale. Next. And I thank you very much.